Here we have a little Martin custom dreadnought. The customer brought it in, scared to death that he was going to have a neck reset. The action had popped up really high on it. You can see here that this doesn't look very good. And he could obviously see that his neck was coming loose. So he did like all people do these days. He went on the internet, checked out the situation, read about horror stories. Then he called me to take a look at it. So, what people don't realize is that a lot of these little guitars have a bolt-on neck. Right underneath that little plate right there, that's double-sided taped on, there's a bolt. So, what I'm going to do is take this apart. This is not the first time I've seen this, so I expect this to go pretty easy. So I'm going to take it apart and get back to you in a few. Here we have our little plate out, and that's actually the hardest part of the job, getting the plate out and getting the adhesive cleaned up from both sides of it and inside the block. And if you look back in here again, now you'll see a head of a little Phillips bolt. So what I like to do is take those out. Well, first thing I'll do is tighten that, make sure it pulls the neck back. I like to take those out, clean them up, and put some breakable thread lock on them to kind of protect it from this happening again. Don't get too excited, people. Breakable thread lock will come loose if you heat it slightly with a soldering iron, so there's no problem with ever getting it out. So it just gives you a little added protection against vibration and shrinkage from humidity and so on. This one is actually so loose you can actually hear the bolt rattle in it. So, next step. So here we go. I've got the neck tightened all back up. Got the serial number plate back on. I used a couple strips of foam tape on it instead of covering the whole back side. That means it'll come off a little bit easier next time if it has to. The action height looks a lot better. The joint looks entirely different. So it's not quite finished at this point. I need to actually clean the neck up, clean the frets up. I'm probably going to set the guitar up, but it's not really quite right. The point here is, though, there is a total time for what I've done. 20 minutes, 25 seconds. You can be sure he agonized over it a whole lot longer than that. So, just want to make a quick point to you. Things can be easier than they seem. Later.